Thursday live stream of the Draft Dudes podcast. Joe, hey, what's up, man?
Hey, Kyle. Good evening.
Good afternoon.
Good night.
Well, no, not that far. But we got the first mock draft 2022 Draft Dudes mock draft of the season. As soon as our producer Chris Schubert gives us access to the Google Doc,
right, Shuby.
How's everybody doing? Welcome. Do I think I could run 100 meters? Or what do I think I could run 100 meters in? I don't know. The fast times are just under 11 seconds, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm 23, 24, 25.
I was going to say give me 18. You're good for the first 30 yards, Joe. I've seen it's just what
You're such a jerk.
Tell me I'm wrong, though.
No, there's no lies detected. I can get you those 30 yards, but I get sniped for the last 10.
Braden, also accurate with it looks like it's time to cancel NFL Game Pass. I canceled mine this afternoon, Joe. I don't know about you.
Well, I still want to have the condensed games and all that. So
no,
I
don't. I'm going to go ahead and get the VPN thing and get an international account, I think.
Okay.
Can I say that, or is that frowned upon? I don't
know. I guess maybe this is a luxury that I have with a brother that resides in Europe.
Yeah.
Might work out. Are you the anonymous wolf in this document?
Yeah, I am in the Google Doc. We're doing the mock draft, and I am the anonymous wolf.
Dude, some of the animals that they use for users in a shared doc is just unreal.
It's a little odd, isn't it?
It is.
I'm excited for this, man. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I am too, especially because this is the draft order that we predicted. My mock draft that comes out on Monday is, reverse Vegas odds. So this is a really different landscape, to be honest with you. And so it's going to create a much different experience. And so I'm excited for it.
Obligatory. Woozy wants to know when the 2022 draft machine is dropping. It's addressed the first time somebody asks on every stream, and that's it. And we are currently working through some developmental updates to the site. And because of that, we are taking our sweet time. We are working our way through, obviously, the scouting process and the cross-check process. It will be up before the start of the season. No worries. We'll get there. Hopefully sooner rather than later, but we don't want to give you guys a definite timeline while we're working through some developmental stuff until we know exactly when it's going on. So stay patient.
Is it safe to say that you're literally working on that right now?
Yeah, I am.
Literally?
I'm in Kansas City this weekend, and we are working on a lot of details about the site. So,
tell with a bad take. Tell with a real bad take. Cameron Harris.
This ain't takes on takes here.
Oh, whoo, my guy.
Chris, I think we're ready whenever you are, my friend.
Let's roll. What's better than this? Guys being dudes here on the Draft Dudes live stream. Kyle, it's a Thursday. It's July 29th, and we're doing our first mock draft of the season. Hashtag can't wait.
Hold on. We can't start the stream without talking about who brings the stream on every Monday and Thursday. Our good friends at Mighty Swell. I'm not at home, so I did not pack any stream or any swells for on the plane. But all of our streams brought to you by our friends at Mighty Swell. Excited to get rolling here on this mock draft edition.
Kyle's in Kansas City.
I'm in Kansas City. Kansas City going to have to wait a while in this mock draft, though.
All right, so we've got the draft order, which comes courtesy of our picks, right? Feels good to have bought in on Green Bay. Thank you, Aaron Rodgers, for showing up and keeping the dream alive that we created with them representing the NFC in the Super Bowl. So We are responsible for this draft order. It's in the order that we picked all the games. So if you want to be mad about any of it, extend those displeasures to Chris Schubert at Shoe Radio on Twitter. He'll be happy to take on your grievances. Kyle, I mean, what do you want to do here? Odds, evens, Buffalo's at 29. It looks like Shuby has completely forgotten about all the traded picks in this document.
Oh, there he goes. Now he's going to work. So Chris is here with us in the background, but he's having some technical difficulties being completely transparent. So we don't have all the bells and whistles that we were hoping for, but we still got the nuts and bolts down. So we're ready to roll. You are going to take evens, Joe.
Okay, evens.
Calling
so that means you got to deal with that number one pick, which is not like last year where it was Trevor Lawrence, move on with your day.
Correct. But I will feel good about my pick at number one. I guess we're on the clock now, correct?
I think so. Shuby got the order right. I sent him a private chat.
Dun.
All right.
Here we go. The Houston Texans are going to draft Spencer Rattler, quarterback, Oklahoma, with the number one pick in this first Draft Dudes mock draft. Reminder, if you're coming in late, the draft order is set thanks to us and our season predictions here on Draft Dudes. So Houston, we predicted very underwhelming performance this year, as you would expect. Expected to make a transition for the quarterback position. Deshaun Watson, obviously a very odd and difficult situation at camp, but we do not expect him to stay there long term. Houston kind of just needs to hit the reset. Rattler's the best quarterback available in this year's class, in my opinion. So I don't care that they took one in the third round. I'm going to go ahead and take a quarterback here at number one.
All right, so I'm up with the Philadelphia Eagles at number 2. Who they got a couple of really nice options at positions of need, but
Jalen, I don't think Culley's going to be there long term. So
who's that?
Jalen, I'm surprised David Culley would take Spencer Rattler. I don't think David Culley's going to last too long in Houston, so I don't think that's going to influence their decision too much.
No, I think that Philadelphia is going to pick one of these two players, but this is kind of me revealing where I stand on the pass rush versus coverage debate, because, I mean, honestly, for Philly, you could go corner here, and Derek Stingley's right there for the picking. And let's be honest, Darius Slay's been down the last 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. He's on the wrong side of 30. I'd be concerned about that if I were Philly. And they just signed Steven Nelson to be probably a starter for them. They got needs at corner. They also have needs at defensive end where Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett, and Ryan Kerrigan, they're all up after this season. And that kind of leaves just Brandon Graham, who's aging. I'm going with the pass rusher. I'm going with Kayvon Thibodeau from Oregon for the Philadelphia Eagles. You know that it's a position that Philadelphia values. They need reinforcements, and I'm pass rush over coverage, so I got to stay true to my philosophy here and go Thibodeau from Oregon.
Which puts the Jacksonville Jaguars, right? We try and be phonetically correct here on Draft Dudes. Jacksonville Jaguars on the clock. And I have 2 options, really. I could go with Evan Neal, the offensive tackle out of Alabama, because they have Cam Robinson, who's there on the franchise tag this year. Or I can go with the best defensive player available, which is really the position that I like the most for them. He's kind of a little bit of a positionless player, if you will, but I think that's going to help him a little bit in the grand scheme of things when you take into account the positional value for the safety position traditionally is not super highly coveted in the NFL draft process. But I look at Kyle Hamilton, and I think he would be a really good match on the back end with some of the athleticism that they have at linebacker. I think he can play sub-package just about anywhere. We've kind of run with the Jamal Adams / Derwin James type impact. So I know that you could go with an offensive tackle and cite positional value. I understand that Derek Stingley's still on the board here. But I think Kyle Hamilton is every bit of a good football player, and I'm going to go with Hamilton at 3 for Jacksonville.
All right. The Detroit Lions are on the clock at number 4. And, man, I just think this is a little early for a wide receiver, although I think that's probably their biggest need. And, look, let's be honest about Detroit. They got a couple of first-round picks. They're a team that's rebuilding, and I think they just need to get good players, right? Like, just go for the elite talent. I think you have to kind of throw the position need out the window because you're going to miss out on a good player. And to me, the best player available at this point in time in this draft is Derek Stingley, the corner from LSU. Kyle is heartbroken because he's got to pick for the Jets next, and I'm sure he was hoping I'd leave him on the table. But Stingley's too good. I mean, just a dynamic press coverage corner, sticky down the field. The ball skills are exceptional, and that's what you love. He's just a total package. He could take away the football, and he's really good in terms of any coverage technique that you're asking him to fill. He met the promise, right? Being this number one recruit, 5-star consensus, all that stuff. He met that promise immediately. I think he played better than maybe some of the perception was out there from last year where he played hurt. And obviously the defense from the coaching to the talent around him was really different. And this is a premier talent. And so just get the BPA here if you're Detroit, and that's Derek Stingley.
What the hell am I going to do with this pick for the Jets at 5?
You know?
This is, I mean, they don't, best players available according to TDN. You got Evan Neal, DeMarvin Leal, Trent McDuffie, Brandon Joseph, Jackson Kirk. None of these are needs for the Jets. I can't take a wide receiver at 5. It's a reach. Does anybody want to trade?
Here's the problem, Kyle, is you're and we don't necessarily love the top tier talent in this draft. And so because of that, man, you're going to have to force some things, man. And you're going to have to take swings on prospects that probably haven't played to a level that warrants where they're going to get drafted.
Right. How long did Morgan Moses sign for? Is it a 1-year deal?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
No, but I can check.
Producer
Chris is just all over it tonight. Let me just tell you.
Chris is really knocking it out of the park here.
It is he was offered a 2-year deal, but he took a 1-year, $3.6 million. He just wanted the 1 year.
Taking the best player available in Evan Neal and moving on with it. I have to. So
Who's Evan Neal, Kyle?
Evan Neal's the right tackle. He's going to play left tackle for Alabama this year. But Evan Neal's has been the right tackle for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Him and Mekhi Becton together gives you probably one of the most physically imposing offensive tackle prospects that you could or pairings that you could possibly cook up over the last 2 years. But there was no way I was going to cook up a wide receiver, which was a position of need. And I didn't really feel good about the corner options here at 5. It's just so early. So I just went with best player available. Look, you got a young quarterback, put the best staple player around him. I like that fit.
Kyle, let's get weird here with the Atlanta Falcons at number 6.
Quarterback?
Let's take a little quarterback here. And listen, Matt Ryan very well could be Atlanta's quarterback for the next 2 seasons. He's signed through the next 2 years, and that's fine. Go roll with him, finish out his run in Atlanta. But that should not preclude them from taking an opportunity to pull the trigger on his successor. And the more I think about it, the more I like the idea of Sam Howell, quarterback from North Carolina, as an option for Atlanta. You think about the Arthur Smith offense in Tennessee, and a lot of play action, a lot of vertical shots down the field. And I think it meshes well with Sam Howell and the best attributes that he brings to the table, which is accuracy down the field, being able to throw on the run, has enough twitch in the pocket to, step up and hit throws. And, there's a lot of yards after catch. And so I just think it's a system that could be tailored very easily for a Sam Howell who, let's face it, there's going to be a curve coming out of that Phil Longo system. And so I like the idea of him going to a spot where there's not going to be pressure for him to play right away. Go ahead and get your guy to groom behind Matt Ryan for a couple of seasons and have a seamless transition at quarterback. So Sam Howell for the Falcons here at number 6.
Which gives the Cincinnati Bengals a pick at 7. And I kind of want to go best player available again here. I don't really love the offensive lineman candidates. We like Jackson Kirkland, our group does, at offensive tackle. We like Darian Kennard. Oh, here you go. Chris.
Yeah. Shuby, he's alive.
So here's the draft order. We had somebody in the comments asking for that. Mitchell was asking for that. Here at number 7, I think I'm going to take the Marvin Leal, defensive line from Texas A&M. He can play end. He can play defensive tackle. He's just one of those players that I'm really enamored with for what he's going to be able to do to move all over the front. And you can be really selective and mismatch specific. But he's got the physicality. He's got all the tools to continue to stack weight onto his frame and continue to get better and stronger at the point of attack. But in the physical AFC North, to get a guy who could play inside and outside like Leal and pair him, obviously they just signed Sam Hubbard and they have DJ Reader and they just drafted Tyler Shelvin. You can really win the line of scrimmage a little bit here if you bring in Leal. So that's who I'm going to go with for the Bengals at 7.
All right, Shuby's here, but he's also not here.
Gentlemen?
Oh, Lord. Oh, no.
Hello? Hello?
I don't trust that.
Hi, Chris.
What?
Shuby. I'm going to pretend you're not
Joe,
here.
you're on.
All right. I'm on the clock with what is happening with Shuby, man? Guy's out of it. You just picked for the Bengals, and you picked DeMarvin Leal, and I'm on the clock with the New York Giants at number 8. And I know the strength of this team is their defense, and they've got another first-round pick that we'll get to later on. But at this juncture, I really like the idea of using this high pick on a high upside pass rusher. I know they just brought in Azeez Ojulari in the second round, and I'm excited by him for that team, but the guy needs a running mate. I like Ellerson Smith as a developmental type guy, but get a legitimate guy opposite Ojulari to really give them a dynamic duo off the edge. So I'm going Drake Jackson, edge rusher USC, who gives you all the first bend, flexibility. The guy can apply heat on the passer. Dude, Ojulari and Jackson is an exciting young pair of pass rushers. You have that really stout interior with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams and BJ Hill. And, go to work. All right, you see what Washington's built there with their front seven, say, okay, bet, we can do that too. And I really like the way that this would come together.
Joe just dropped a bet on the chat.
Fired up, man. Fired up.
All right, so I got the Raiders at the next pick here at number 9. And I'm going to go with a corner. Obviously, they have tried and worked to get the secondary right. They invested a ton in the safety room this past year. They drafted technically 3 safeties in the first 4 rounds, I believe it was. They've drafted corners high Damon Arnett, who apparently has not gained traction. They drafted why am I blanking on the Clemson kid?
Mullen?
Yeah. Right? So they've brought in number of corners with relatively high picks, but this is not done, this secondary. And you're in a division with a ton of wide receiver talent, and you're in a division with a ton of quarterback talent. So I think I'm going to go with the most toolsy, and he's also going to check the box for being a blue chip program player. I'm drafting Andrew Booth, the corner from Clemson here. And Joe, you've talked plenty about, this guy's played less than 500 snaps, but the physical tools that he brings is off the charts. And you take into consideration the Raiders' track record of drafting and the programs they draft from, go ahead and try and tell me that Andrew Booth isn't going to check that box for John Gruden and Mike Mayock.
All right. Carolina Panthers, number 10. Stop me if you've heard me say this before.
Stop.
Carolina Panthers have had a different primary starting left tackle every single year since 2013 when Jordan Gross retired. Come on. There's a left tackle I like right here. Jackson I say Jackson Carman. Jackson Kirkland from Washington, man. This guy's a stud. One of my favorite studies of the summer. And I watch his 2020 tape, and I'm just like, wow, this guy's really good. Length, mobility, foot speed. He's always square. He has good coordination and control. I'm like, this guy's a polished technician over here at left tackle for Washington. And then I learned that he'd been playing guard the last 2 years at 330 pounds, and he dropped weight. This guy made a very seamless transition to left tackle, and it just looked like he's been playing the position his whole life. And so I'm excited to see how he evolves and develops this year with a full season under his belt as a left tackle, another full off season to get ready for the spot, man. I think this guy is a really talented guy across the board, and I'll give you a little nugget here. He's my OT1 right now entering the season.
Over Evan Neal.
Yeah, oh yeah. And you can blame Dre Harris for this. Dre Harris said something that I can't shake. He said, it's a lot easier to teach a guy how to run block and get him stronger than it is to teach a guy how to pass block.
He's not
Kirkland's
wrong.
a better pass blocker, man.
He's not wrong. All right, so Minnesota Vikings at 11. Joe, can you confirm Chris updated the draft order? I just don't want us to make a pick and it's with the wrong team.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah.
Chef's kiss. Okay, so the Minnesota Vikings at number 11. And this feels like a really sweet spot for one of my brand players this year. So Minnesota has Harrison Smith, strong safety. He's been there a really long time, and he's a really good football player. And they've invested a lot in the corners. And you know, with how Minnesota has assembled their defense, that they're always going to be dialed in on the secondary. They got Zimmer there, so it's just too easy of a dot to connect. But you do have a little bit of a hole at free safety. And I'm looking at another guy that wears purple from the Midwest, Brandon Joseph from Northwestern. This dude is a stud. And the only red mark on his track record right now is the fact that he was a redshirt freshman last year. If he comes out and plays to the same degree in which he did last year, I know Northwestern guys usually like to come back and pursue their degree all the way through, but this will be really, really high-level play for 2 seasons for Brandon Joseph as a young player. He can do it all. He can play mismatch in the slot. He can play free high. He can play strong safety and fill in the run. No shortage of opportunities for him to line up all over the secondary and the shell. So go ahead and put me down for Brandon Joseph to the Minnesota Vikings at number 11.
All right. So I have the Dallas Cowboys number 12. Somebody put in the chat that 2 safeties in the top 11. Well, let's go 3 in the top 12. Dallas is a team that has a bunch of guys at safety, right? Like they just don't have a difference maker. They have a lot of young players, but
you gonna
nothing
do
that.
right
Oh, I'm doing this right now. You just wait, brother. You just wait. It's about to happen. Give me a second to get the build up done. All right.
I told you for 3 weeks to watch this guy.
And I did today. And it's going to translate over here. I'm going to take it from the classroom to the field right now. Daxton Hill, safety out of Michigan. Kyle's all over it. Darnell Savage comp, a guy that you feel can play down in the slot and play man-to-man. He could play deep. He could play halves. The ball skills are there. The physicality. I love the way that this guy will trigger downhill, play off contact, make plays, sees it quick, athletically gifted. I mean, a 5-star recruit. You can see that in the way he plays.
Flat.
Let's go. This is a really intriguing talent. I think he takes a big step again this year. His tape's already really good. Physical attributes are there. And I think Dallas needs some like legit playmakers in that secondary. They got a lot of young guys that they've been investing in, but who are the premium assets that they have? Let's go get one here in Daxton Hill.
Oh, you have warmed my heart so much. So now we're at an awkward juncture with the Denver Broncos at 13. Do I take a quarterback?
Glad I'm not making this pick.
If they're picking at 13, then the season went exactly how you would anticipate when your quarterback's battling for the starting job. Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater, right?
They're sending this pick to Green Bay, brother.
The rest of this team is really, really good. So if you're picking 13th, it says you're kind of capped. I think you need to bring in somebody else. The question is, who's best going to fit what they have? And I take into account just all the talent they have to spread the field at wide receiver, and even Noah Fant at tight end, right? And I think about Matt Corral and the wide open offense in Ole Miss. And I think that's the fit that makes a lot of sense. I know the chat wants Jerkovich because he's an Elway type player. I get it. No, you can't do it. And Corral, I think he's got enough arm. He's really creative style of play. He runs a high potent offense with a lot of tempo. I'm in on Matt Corral as a player and as a prospect. I think he's got a lot of exciting potential. And if you were to ask me who the quarterback from this class was that ends up making that kind of a jump or has the best potential to make that kind of a jump, I would tie it to Matt Corral because of his traits.
All right. Number 14, the New Orleans Saints. Kyle, the Saints have gambled, in my mind, with the wide receiver position and not really having much depth. And obviously with Michael Thomas's mismanagement of his ankle, it has really exposed that, right? Like I don't understand why they have not been more deliberate about adding to this wide receiver core to just have more options, have more weapons in the passing game. Well, I'm calling the shots, and I'm going to change that right now. We are going to pick a wide receiver. We're going wide receiver 1, Chris Olave from Ohio State. And listen,
that's such
this guy, you want to know what? Olave's a fit for every team because you know what he does? He gets open and catches the football. I mean, a really dynamic route runner, creates tons of separation, really consistent hands, has speed down the field. And no, he's not like the biggest bodied guy. I don't think he's small. But I keep going back to that Penn State game where he's going up against Joey Porter Jr., who's got all this length and size and physicality. Chris Olave was unbothered by that. And that really was a game that spoke to me and really gave me confidence in him as the type of guy we should be talking about in this, area of the draft. So let's get another weapon here in the passing game for whoever's going to play quarterback. And, Olave is a guy that I think fits well with the Saints and really any offense.
I love the fit and the dynamic Michael Thomas, and hopefully we get to see Michael Thomas at 100% this season. It's really unfortunate timing with what's going on with him. But that pairing and those dynamics and their complementary skill sets is really, really good. So I have the Arizona Cardinals at pick number 15. And Joe, there's a little bit of a pipeline here.
Do it.
Arizona and a particular school with a particular position group. We're going back.
Is that what they do?
I have no idea. It is now. Washington Huskies. They need secondary help specifically at the corner position. And there's a guy in this year's class. Joe, would you believe me if I told you that Trent McDuffie almost got a consensus first round from all 6 of our talent scouts?
I would say that he should, because that was not a difficult grade for me to hand out. He's a 1 all day long.
Yeah, he's got the dog in him. He's really, really scrappy. He's not the biggest guy, but I love the way that he plays. And Coach Lane, he's doing something right up there in Washington. So I'm going to make Trent McDuffie the corner from Washington. Who, look, they got Budda Baker, and they also have one more who, brain fart.
Did they take Molden?
No, they don't have Molden.
If it just feels like they did. Byron Murphy, they have
Murphy. Yeah, so it's Byron Murphy and Budda Baker. They're in the secondary. Let's make it 3. Going to go ahead and send Trent McDuffie to the Arizona Cardinals.
Von Tell's happy. You made Von Tell happy with that pick. I think that's the first time in the history of our lives.
He was real easy to make happy. So that's a rarity, and I'm going to celebrate that.
Right, you should. Los Angeles Chargers, number 16 overall. Really like the work that they got done this offseason on that offensive line, finding 4 new starters and making sure things were right in front of Justin Herbert, something they failed to do for Phillip Rivers at the end of his run. Now let's get us another weapon here in the passing game. Mike Williams, he's playing on that last year of his deal, and with his injury history, I'm not sure you really want to commit to him long term, but I do think it would be smart for the Chargers to keep investing in weapons, right, for Justin Herbert, so that you're not holding him back. You're giving him everything he needs to maximize on what we saw last year in a historic rookie season. The receiver I like for them is John Mechie from Alabama.
Ooh.
And you think about Keenan Allen and a really, just an outstanding route runner, a guy that knows how to get open and create leverage and uncover quickly underneath and work the intermediates. John Mechie's a guy that can win down the field. Really polished deep threat, ball skills down the field, knows how to sell his vertical routes, get open, get behind the secondary, has some ability after the catch. He's an awesome blocker. I just think he's a great complement to Keenan Allen and a great fit for what this offense needs to go with Keenan Allen for Justin Herbert so they can attack down the field. So it's going to be about scoring points in this AFC with all these really good young quarterbacks. Make sure that your guy has the weapons he needs to win these track meets. So give me John Mechie to the Chargers and Justin Herbert.
Joseph?
Kyle Sif?
I got some bad news.
Break it.
The dinner bells are ringing.
Woo.
And this Draft Dudes live stream, we keep them at 30 minutes. And when we do these in season, we usually break them up. And that's what we're going to do here on today's show. We know you're still in the chat and having a hard time with the fact that we're going to break on. Right now, we have the Colts pick scheduled here. I think we'll have to argue with Chris a little bit.
Oh, no.
As far as whether or not the Eagles are going to end up getting that pick or not. Obviously, that's a conditional pick based on Carson Wentz and his playing time. So 16 picks in the books. Going to go ahead, read them off one last time. Houston Texans, Spencer Rattler, quarterback, Oklahoma. Reminder, this draft order was set by our season predictions courtesy of playoffpredictors.com. So we picked every single game to be played, and this is the draft order that was the result of that. So the Houston Texans at 1, Spencer Rattler. Philadelphia Eagles at 2, Kayvon Thibodeau, defensive end from the Oregon Ducks. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 3, Kyle Hamilton, safety, Notre Dame. Number 4, the Detroit Lions. Derek Stingley, cornerback, LSU, ruined my pick at number 5. Evan Neal, who is the pick to the New York Jets at number 5 after Stingley.
The biggest tackle tandem in the history of football. Right? Becton and Neal, unreal.
Number 6, Atlanta Falcons took Sam Howell, quarterback, North Carolina. Joe has evens. Joe has evens. I have odds. So if you don't like a pick, you know who to blame. Number 7, Cincinnati Bengals, Martin Leal, defensive lineman, Texas A&M. Number 8, Joe, my favorite pick of the top 16 thus far. The Giants draft Drake Jackson, the edge from USC. Number 9, the Las Vegas Raiders took cornerback Andrew Booth from Clemson. The Carolina Panthers at 10 took offensive tackle Jackson Kirkland from Washington. Minnesota Vikings at 11 took safety Brandon Joseph from Northwestern. Number 12, the Dallas Cowboys took safety Daxton Hill from Michigan. Number 13, quarterback Matt Corral took the Denver Broncos took quarterback Matt Corral from Ole Miss. Number 14, the New Orleans Saints took wide receiver Chris Olave from Ohio State. Number 15, the Arizona Cardinals took cornerback Trent McDuffie from Washington. And at number 16, the Los Angeles Chargers took wide receiver John Mechie III from the University of Alabama. Joe, do you have the approval penguin with you?
Oh, yeah.
There he is. That's a beautiful
He makes it for another week on the pod.
What a
live stream.
What a great way to sign off on this lovely Thursday. We really appreciate you guys tuning in, having a little fun. Way too early 2022 mock draft, our first year on Draft Dudes. And we're going to finish this next week. So make sure you come back Mondays and Thursdays, brought to you by our friends at Mighty Swell, Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino, and the ghost of Chris Schubert. Cheers. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you again next time.